Hi guys, this is SDJRSNF88 speaking, and welcome to a special farewell video to our Great Model Railway Challenge layout, Go Forth. So as you all know, our Great Model Railway Challenge layout, Go Forth, has been stored here at Signals Models in Midsomer Norton for the past couple of months. But as you know recently, it's time to say farewell to the layout, and it has since been sold on. So in this video, we're going to basically start disassembling the layout, removing all the parts, all the buildings and all the little details, and putting them safely in storage, ready for its transportation to its new home. Which I'll discuss hopefully later on in this video. So anyway, the main challenge for today is to go around the layout, remove all the buildings, all the trees, and disconnect all the wiring underneath the layout. So there's a lot of wiring underneath the boards, and all that needs separating and tagging and making sure it all goes back together so the new owners know how to assemble the layout when it arrives at its new home. Right, so it's been about 40 minutes, and as you can see, the layout is looking completely different. We've got all the buildings are now started to be packed away. The back scenes are off. All the boxes have started to be packed. You can see in here, we've got all the buildings. They've all been labelled up. So we've got the bus here, so that is the Fallard bus. We've also got all the little platforms. Then we've got Flash Hart's plane. The crash plane in the trench in there, along with all the Nissen huts, Melchard's Manor House, along with all the little side buildings, the Red Baron, and we just need to find some space for the other buildings. These will be bubble wrapped and put in the box and all labelled up in due course as well. What we've also done is, because the raised area is sort of separately fitted and I'm worried that it might move in transit, I've removed the actual bunker scene. So this is a rare chance to actually see what was actually inside Blackadder's bunker. And as you can see there, we've got Blackadder on the table, we've also got Baldric there and George on the chair, and this is one of the bookcases that goes behind the table there, so that's also separate as well. And then you've got the bunk beds on the other side. The church still needs to come off, and then we've also started packing all of the little bits and pieces, all the little figures and other bits and pieces into separate bags. You can see they've all been labelled up, so we've got figures, some buffer stops in there as well. We've got all the rocks from the cliff faces, and then in here we got all the fixtures and fittings, along with the rubble from the demolished farmhouse up there as well. And you can see we got AD's famous paintbrush or tree. That will definitely need to be separately wrapped up and made nice and secure, as it is very, very delicate. But of course, this is one of the most sort of iconic features of the layout. This is one of our scratch builds, so we want to make sure this is all nice and safe, and safely arrives for the layout to be displayed once it's set up in its new home. Right, so we're now underneath the baseboards, and as you can see, there's a lot of wiring underneath here that all needs sorting out. Most of this is all pre-labelled. The main sections of the wiring is actually for the connections for the tracks. So you can see here, we're underneath the siding here. So these are all the wires for the sidings, the narrow gauge, and the main line. And this is just a simple plug system. I'm going to do this one-handed because obviously I've got the camera in the other hand. But if I just pull that there, as you can see, it's a male and female connection, and they simply just pop out and then they reconnect. So that's nice and simple. This, on the other hand, this is some of the wiring for some lighting, and this will obviously need some unscrewing and stuff. So this, I didn't get ready to put in plugs on this, but this could easily be sorted. So I'm going to get a screwdriver and undo all this. Again, this is all labelled up, so everybody should know how it connects back together once it arrives at its new location. And yeah, it's just a matter of going around the whole layout and doing all these connections for each of the rails, and doing all the wiring for the lighting as well. And you can see this is where the controllers come up to, and you can see where I've got all the labels too, and it's got things like main line, narrow gauge, all written on it, so they should know where it all plugs into the controllers. And then here we got the wire for the Red Baron, so this goes up through the baseboard just there, and that's where it goes to the turntable that operates that. And then over here we have the Woodland Scenics lighting rig. The wall socket is in the stock box, which you just saw a minute ago, and this basically operates the orange lighting in the bunker, so this is very, very important, and this is all one contained little unit here. And then we come on to one of the bits that everybody seems to keep on asking lots and lots of questions about, and it's of course our firing mechanism for our railgun. And for those of you who haven't seen it, this is how it operates. This is a little pin here, this is the firing pin at the front of the layout, and if you pull this out, this basically drops this bit of dowel here on an elastic band, and the railgun is held back in place with a rubber band on the top of the baseboard. And if I pull this out, you see the dowel drops down. That releases the railgun, so the railgun would have slid back at this point. And as this dowel drops, thanks to this rubber band, you'll see it hit this little switch here. And this little switch, if we follow the wiring, goes to a smoke generator, just there. And that is where the smoke from the breech comes from the gun. So for those of you who have been asking questions over the years, I've never, well, not over the year I should say, on how that railgun actually worked on set. It actually works thanks to this really clever little mechanism. I've had a few people saying it was done by servos and magnets, but yeah, it's just very, very simple mechanics. So there we go. So there we go, it's been about an hour and a half now, and all the wires have been disconnected, all of the scenics have been removed, backboards, other bits and pieces, and we're going to call it a day now. And basically the next step is when the team arrive to come and collect it, we will then split the boards, we will take the legs off, and then it will all be positioned, ready to be moved out of the shop. So yeah, it's looking a bit of a sad state now. It is a bit disheartening to see it like this, but hopefully it will live on in its next location. So we'll be back in a couple of days' time, ready for the big move. Right, so it's Wednesday the 28th of January, and what we're going to do now is split the baseboards, take the legs off, and then stack it up against the walls, ready for transportation. There's a few other things we've got to do to make sure it's ready for being moved. That includes strapping down some of the land forms. You can see we've got some masking tape to the right there, that's starting to hold some of the land forms on, and we've got to do that for around the rest of the layout just to make sure it all stays secure and stays in place. So without further ado, I'm going to set up the time-lapse camera and get started. So there we go, it's been about an hour now, and as you can see, go forth is no more. It is now just stacked up neatly against the walls here. So we've got the end section with the field hospital and the centrepiece there, along with all the backboards and of course the iconic nameplate. And as we come round to the left, we then have the trench area with the artillery gun. And we've removed the turntable for the Red Baron, but we left the attachment in there so we all know where it goes. And yeah, basically the layout is now ready to be transported to a new home. So it's been a brilliant experience, but it's going to be, I was going to say it is quite sad to see it in a state like this again, but hopefully it's going to go to a new home now, or well, it's ready to go to its new home. So we're looking forward to hopefully seeing it at some point in the not too distant future under new ownership. But there we go. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. And just thought I'd let you know what's happening with the layout, and you never know, maybe one day you might see it pop up somewhere. So there we go, and I guess that's all that's left for me to say is this has been SDJ Arsenal 88 speaking, and thanks for watching.